Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all here. We look forward to having another great in-service today, sharing some good educational information, some announcements, success stories, door prizes, all that good stuff. So we really appreciate you all making time to be here. Don't forget to please silence your phones or put them on vibrate. And hopefully everybody signed in. Make sure you get a ticket and you get credit for the in-service. So today's in-service is on safety and work-related injuries by Miss Julia Guerra. We appreciate her being here. She's a claims adjuster with occupational accident risk. And then after that, our own Enrique De Luna is going to provide some tips and education on resident falls in regards to safety. So we appreciate everyone being here. And with that, I'm going to ask Julia to come on up and kick us off.
Okay. So good afternoon. Glad to see everybody today. I was here, I don't know when I was, last year. So it might be a repeat, but it's also a refresher, okay? So I'm with Occupational Accident Risk, and what we do is we assist with your work injury and benefits, okay? So whenever you have an injury, I'm pretty sure they've already, from my understanding is once you get hired, they do let you know what kind of plan they have. It's probably electronically, you can read it, there's details, but our job is to interpret the benefits for that plan if and when you have a work injury, okay? So, I know where's the clicker? I have to use the clicker. This one's different.
Sometimes down is usually up.
Oh, point it there. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, all right. So then I'm just going to give a quick overview, like I did. Go over some safety information, claims, what is a claim, and then how you're supposed to report it, and then leave some time for questions. Usually people are shy, you don't have any questions, but you never know. We do have time for questions as well. Oh, went down. Okay, so definitions. Accident means an unforeseen, unplanned, and unexpected, right? So definitely not anything that you plan, it's just something that happens. That's what an accident is. And it also, for a claim purpose, it happens as a specific time and place. It results in a physical injury and arose while you were working. Course and scope, it's course and scope of your employment. So that is what an accident is for work injury benefits, okay? So it can be difficult sometimes because if you do a job over and over and over, then your shoulder might hurt, right? But for an accident purpose, for a claim, for a work injury claim, it has to be a specific time and place. You were lifting, 10-pound boxes on this date, okay? So it's very important if you feel something, and many times your body's going to tell you, you're going to feel a pull. I've heard people tell me they feel a pull, they feel a pop, they feel a burning sensation. So it's very specific at a time and place for an injury, and it's a physical injury, okay? And while you were working. So, ways to promote safety is to use the tools and equipment for your job, okay? If you feel that you don't have the tools and equipment that is needed for your job, it's very important that you get with your supervisor, right? They definitely, I've been here and I've been working with Ashton and Stephanie. It's been a couple of years now, maybe 3 or 4 years. And I know they are very, very involved and want to make sure and ensure everybody's safety. So if you don't feel that you have the tools that you need to properly do your job, definitely get with your supervisor and they'll get with the proper people. Now, the tools also include, personal protection, gloves, goggles, depending, right? You have a wide range of jobs that you do here. So whatever kind of tools that you think you need to keep your job and do your job safely, please get with your supervisors on that. Also, report any unsafe conditions. If there's a crack in the sidewalk that you see as a hazard, definitely report it to somebody. people that are in the kitchen or somewhere else. If there's a spill, let's try to get that cleaned up as soon as possible. Report it to avoid anybody slip and falls. Also, keep your workplace clear from clutter. People that work outside, as we're getting into the warmer months, always stay hydrated. Practice good posture when you're lifting. These are just normal tips, right, that we can all follow, whether we're here at work or even at home, right? So make sure when you're lifting, you use a proper technique, right? Not, it's like bend at the knees, not straightforward, it's good, that stuff like that. Take regular breaks as assigned, or if you feel that you need extra, again, just get with your supervisor. I know they really emphasize safety, so just get with them. I'm sure they'll be able to help you out. Be aware of your surroundings. I've come across claims where, unfortunately, if you're in an office, sometimes there's too many electrical cords, and you might be in a rush and definitely slip and fall there, right? Some chairs. Sometimes I've had workers where they report like a paper clip fell, and they want to just reach over and grab that paper clip, and there goes the chair, because it's a rolling chair. Yeah, it's going to roll. You're going to fall, right? So just be aware of your surroundings and just be cognizant, of what you're doing, just to avoid it, because then you're out of work. You're going to miss work to go to the doctor. It turns into a big ordeal. We're here to help you if it happens, but definitely being on that side as an injured worker, I definitely don't want to be there, because it's no fun. From what I hear, I deal with the claims and the injured workers on a daily basis, and they get hurt, and it hurts. They're in pain, and there's only so much that we can do, right? So if we could try to avoid it, that's the best course there. Goes back to lifting techniques, and then aware of your surroundings, repeating that. Okay, so then accidents happened. We know that. So where it goes. Okay. Report it immediately, no matter the severity, right? Sometimes you might think it's nothing, but 2 weeks later, let's not say 2 weeks, maybe a week later, a few days later, it's still nagging you or something. But the guidelines say you have to report it immediately or end of your shift. Each one is different, so I'm not too sure exactly. But the sooner, the better. It's like immediately, so that they know and document it. That doesn't mean you have to go for medical treatment, but at least it's documented that an incident occurred. And then if you choose to, sometimes you can sit on it a day or so, and it goes away, and then you go. But at least it's reported. It has to be reported immediately, or as soon as possible. Okay, and then communicate with us so that we can give you the detailed benefits and guide you on how to proceed. Unfortunately, there's sometimes that it does cause going to an emergency room. Well, that emergency room personnel is not aware of your benefit plans and how this operates, right? So they're just going to refer you to your PCP. It's like they're just ruling out anything emergent, life-threatening. They'll just patch you up something and go on your way and follow up with your PCP. If it happened at work, you do not follow up with your PCP. You have to follow up with the approved providers set by the plan, okay? So that's why you have to get with your supervisor, report it, so they can guide you to us, and then we'll let you know what the correct clinic is to go. Not all clinics treat injured workers, so we just need to guide you to the proper clinic and locations for that. So it's very important that when it happens, we try to get a hold of you as soon as possible. The ladies report it to us. We'll attempt a phone call. We'll send a text, and we'll also mail out a letter. So we're trying to get a hold of you because we need to have you go to the proper clinics and, again, get you on the right track to get you feeling better, avoid, unneeded pain. So then follow doctor's orders. Once you go to the established approved provider, then he will let you know. They'll put restrictions depending on how you're feeling. You can lift more than 10 pounds, cannot lift more than 10 pounds. They have a guideline. Then you turn that into your supervisor. They'll have follow-ups, and it's important to follow because that's one of the plan provisions, right? So there's benefits and there's provisions. The provisions is you report it as soon as possible. Another one is that you follow the guidelines of the doctor, right? We want to promote the healing. The only way that's going to happen is if you follow what the doctor is stating for you to do. That's, okay, I went ahead a bit. So the light duty, that's where the restrictions come in. They'll check off what you can and cannot do. You turn that into your supervisor. They will review, see if your job can handle now, it doesn't have to be your specific job that you were hired for. They can also find another job temporarily while you're on these restrictions, and so you're not missing any wages from work, so they try to accommodate that as much as possible. I know the ladies do try to do that. Okay, so there are some exclusions that I just want to go over with it real quick. So if you are drinking on the job, well, that's just any job, or under the influence of drugs, then definitely that's going to exclude any benefits under the plan. So any horseplay, not too much here, but we handle like some fast food, can't probably name them, but some fast food establishments. You have a younger workforce. Yeah, they're horse playing with some stuff, so that's excluded. Or improper behavior. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have altercations, with some employees, so that's also excluded. Violation of safety rules and practices. So you know what you're supposed to do for your job to be safe in it, and if you violate those safety protocols that are probably this is a work injury benefit plan. You probably have an employee handbook. Your employee handbook illustrates safety procedures to do your job correctly. If it's found in our investigation, because when we do is we speak to you, say, Ms. Guerra, what happened? How did it happen? We speak to your supervisor. Were you aware? Did she violate any safety? This is part of the claims process, okay? So it's very important that you know the safety practices for your job and not to violate them, because if we find out, unfortunately, that was violated, it could be grounds for ending benefits. Also, any pre-existing degenerative issues, it's not covered, right? It could be aggravated, right, and you can get coverage for that, but let's say down the road it says, okay, well, you need surgery, but if it was a cause of your arthritis or a pre-existing condition, that's where your personal medical health comes into play. This is just for the work injury only. Okay. So again, going back to reporting, and it's very important. I cannot emphasize enough, because I have to deny claims because they do not report it on time. We don't want to deny the benefits. That is why your employer or Army residence has established this plan for you, is for when you get injured. But it's very important that you report it on time, because if you don't report it on time, your benefits could be denied, okay? So be descriptive. They'll give you a form, you say what happened. They're like, I hurt my arm. Okay, what were you doing? I hurt my arm while doing this. You have to describe what you were doing. Now, we will call to confirm and find out, but if we get that information up hand, it helps a lot, okay? So after you report it to your supervisor, they probably direct you to the ladies, Ashton or Stephanie, then they report it to us, and that's how the process starts. Then it gets into our system, you're given a claim number, and like I said, set up with the proper clinics to receive medical attention. And then, so our final goal is no accidents, right? And the best way to do that is just like we went over, is trying to follow those safety tips, be aware of your surroundings, and report any unsafe conditions. So it was just, if you were here last year, it's pretty much the same, but it's just a quick reminder, right? Because the whole year has passed. But I understand also that you might have reminders in your break rooms of when to report an injury, because we cannot emphasize enough to report it. We want to get you well, back into your job, reduce pain if that can happen. Any unnecessary pain, we don't want y'all to go through that, okay? So I know it's a lot of information and y'all getting ready, you'll have to go back, but does anybody have any questions right now? It's short and simple. But if you do, just reach out to Ashton and Stephanie. They'll reach out to us. They pretty much know the plan. And if it's specific questions that y'all need, again, I understand the plan is provided to you. It's kind of, I describe it, it's like our auto insurance, right? You get that big packet of what you're supposed to do and and we just file it away. But it describes what the benefits are and what is your responsibilities as well. If you have any questions, it's also, I think, in your employee portal, I think is what you said. It's the document that I'm talking about is called Summary Plan, Summary Plan Description. SPD is for short. So if you have some extra time, you want to read it over. If you have any questions, get with the ladies and they'll get back to me. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, okay. How about another round for Miss Julia Guerra? All right, Enrique, showtime. Thank you. You have a different?
A different.
Good, good.
Okay, that's good. Let's go somewhere here like this. Oh, okay.
No, not that one. This one is taking, say, next slide.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon. Now we are going to review what happens when you find a resident on the floor, falls. And as you probably know, when we grow older, things start to decay. We don't use it, we lose it. And that's the thing. If we do not exercise enough, we don't keep those muscles going, our muscles are going to get weak. And then, unlike others, the same, the falls are not intentional, hopefully. Not intentional. You don't put your foot to the resident so they can fall. Hopefully not. But let's see what happens. Why is it that people falls? And it's according to the Centers for Disease Control, says the prevention. In prevention, 1 out of 4 adults have a chance to fall and get injured. They go to the hospital, depending on what kind of fall how they fell, on what they hit. They go to the hospital to be evaluated. Okay, so that's really bad. So what happened to any residents that comes over to, especially to our community, continuum of care? We do see residents that fall over here and independent living, assisted livings, healthcare. We have a lot of them too as well. And there's a lot of causes. As it says in there, is because of the environment, perhaps. They was clutter on their way when they were walking to the bathroom, and then oops, they went on the floor. They slipped. There's some water on the floor, the trickle on the floor, there they go to as well. Or there was a rug, an independent living, maybe they have a rug that they forgot to move, or they forgot they were there, and then they went on the floor. Medications, yeah, there is, with the resident who just came from the hospital, a lot of them, they had some surgery, they're on anesthesia or any new medication that makes them kind of drowsy, they're going to have a chance to fall, a great chance to fall. Now, what do? We found someone on the floor. A lot of us, we have found one on another time, people on the floor. Do we just walk away when we see him on the floor? No. We call the nurse. In healthcare, we call the nurse. And as independent living, it says there, you call the front desk immediately. You stay with the resident. Do not leave him over there. You stay there until help arrives. And health assisted living, you also see if it's a nurse there, you call the nurse and assisted living. If not, you will call 911 and stay with the resident. Healthcare, you found the resident on the floor, you call the nurse, and you stay with the resident. You see, this is the trend. We stay with the resident. We do not leave them alone. We're making sure that the resident doesn't hurt themselves further. We just said there over there, licensed nurse personnel. What does the licensed nurse work? What is she supposed to do when they go there and see a resident on the floor? What do you think the licensor should be doing?
Check the patient and ask if he got any pay or he something.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the job of the licensed nurse is to making sure the resident is not in pain, assess the pain, assess the type of injury. Maybe there was an injury. Do we move him? Don't move it? What have you? The same goes in the independent living too as well. When EMS will come over, they will assess the resident to see if the extent of the injury, what it was, the extent of the injury, doesn't need further medical assistance. They will take him over to the hospital. They will leave him over here. They have a little cut that they can just patch and leave him, or they have to take him out for an evaluation. That's the same goes through the continuum of care too as well. The difference is that if the nurse, a licensed nurse, will evaluate the resident, see the extent of the injury, and if we will leave him, if we need to leave him on the to be evaluated or to be monitored, we do that as well. Okay. Now, how do we determine that the resident's risk for falls? Is that every single resident that is through in assisted living and healthcare skilled nursing facility, the resident will be evaluated even prior to coming to us. He gets evaluated for a risk for falls, injuries. They get evaluated. Once they get evaluated, then there is preventive measures that we put in place, so that way we minimize the chances of a resident falling. However, you know that it's like a period of time of adjustment time. Every resident comes over, it's a new environment. They're coming back to a new environment, so their chances are higher for them to fall or injure themselves because they do not know the environment that are in there. So it's important for us to making sure that we evaluate, we do check on those residents at all times, more frequently, especially in the first 72 hours of their arrival, because they are the more determined. They are really, really high risk at that time because they came over to us for another place. Maybe they're under anesthesia, or maybe they are on new medications, so therefore they're going to be a higher risk. So 72 hours, we know that already, that resident came over this afternoon. We gotta watch them every 2 hours to making sure all their needs are attended to. No, that's it. Do you have any questions so far? What interventions do you think we put in place, like in healthcare and in assisted living for a resident? What do you have seen in other departments? I know that you guys from other departments sometimes go to the resident rooms. Can you tell me one?
So the paper is hanging up?
Beg your pardon?
The warning signs on them?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. The signs that help them?
The signs to help him? Cautions, yeah, there are cautions things. And what are the signs kind of? There's really signs, but we can see what. There is something that, do you know something that is on the floor when a resident's a high risk for falls?
Maybe the cord when they had the oxygen, the machine.
What interventions do we do to make sure that the resident doesn't, to ameliorate, to decrease the chances of a resident to injure themselves?
It would be a low bed or pads outside of the bed in case they fall.
That's correct, yes. The low bed, that's an intervention. We know that the residents are high risk for falls. Therefore, you will see their beds all the way almost to the floor. So that way, if they roll out of bed, the chances of them injuring them is less. And we also have floor mats, the pads too as well. So if they fall onto it, they don't go into the floor. The floor is very hard. And believe me, I know that. I fell the other day and oops, it's hard. I don't recommend that. So it does ameliorate or decreases the chances of a resident to injure themselves. So low beds. Very important thing too as well is to have a cold light at all times with the residents. Cold light. you notice a coli there, answer it as soon as you can because that resident may be on the floor bleeding out. You want to make sure that we assist them. What are other things that you think there might be another approach, an intervention, that you cannot remember or seen? Handrails. Ah, good. Well, unfortunately, no. No, that actually increases the chances of a resident injury. Why? That was back in the times of the dinosaurs when I started nursing. We had residents and handrails. The handrails were up. The side rails were up. So the residents they were going to try to go into the bathroom. They climbed their side rails and they fell even further. So side rails are not really appropriate in our settings. They might be at the hospital maybe because there's an acute episode that the resident needs to be saved, but that's not really a thing. Do you have side rails, little ones, to turn or to reposition themselves? Yeah, you'll see these little side rails, but that's not the purpose of it. That's part of the assessment. A registered nurse or a nurse evaluates that need to determine that if the resident even needs those little side rails to turn themselves. If a resident cannot tell you or cannot do in command, they cannot turn themselves on command, or you're telling them to seeing them turn, they should not be having those on because there's a chance of them to injure themselves further. Very good, though. Thank you. Yes.
The little alarm beeping when they stand or sit when they're not supposed to. You know, they start beeping, saying they need to sit back down, lay back down.
Okay. She was saying about a pressure alarm in beds and a wheelchair too as well. They come in a lot of nice things. However, studies have shown that alarms are not really a prevention for falls because at the time that they go off, the residents on the floor too, and also causes a lot of anguish to others as well because you can hear that noise. Other people that are confused, they're going to get up. They're trying to get up and get out of the place because they think it's an emergency, something. They're confused. Yeah. So, but in some instances, you may see in other places that they use bed alarms or chair alarms. We are a restraint-free facility, so that's why it is very important to have that evaluation from the beginning, to start from the beginning, interventions. And activities comes it's a big part of it to keep them busy, to keep them going in strength, to get their strengths and everything occupied. Another question? You have a question? You have a question? Oh, the cords, the colites. The colites, you mean? Yeah. So that's what I say. In healthcare, we do have the call buttons. And assisted living, you have the pendants that you call, yes. So you see, if you hear a light going off, it is a good thing just to pick on it. If you don't have to really help them. Actually, if you're not allowed because depending on the department that you work, but look, pick on it to see, oh, it's safe. I'm gonna get you someone to come over and help you. But do not just walk away from it because that person might be on the floor and needs your assistance. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question, but what about if they're in a wheelchair and you get that special cushion that's got that thing in the
Horse. Okay. Yes, that's a saddle. It's called a saddle one. A saddle cushion. Also, if the resident, that's another thing that it can be also considered a restraint. So it has to be actually evaluated. All the things, once again, everything gets evaluated to making sure that it's appropriate for the plan of care for that particular resident. We cannot just slap something on it and like, okay, go on your happy way. In the past, we did that. We just slap everything, any restraints to a resident. You see them with wrist restraints. You see them with the pelvic restraints. You see them with a lot of restraints. And we thought they were safe. Well, no, they were not safe. Any other question? No? Okay, thank you so much.
How about another round for Enrique? You know, he does so much for us, and that's one of the reasons he was our Elita Longoria Spirit Award winner last month. So he gives us a lot of great knowledge. So, you know, you guys bring up a lot of good topics, and this has changed so much over the years. He's right. They used to restrain residents, and used to be a lap buddy, you restrain them in a chair, or you restrain them in a bed. But all that's changed, and so many regulations around resident quality of life and their rights. So, you know, he's right. And how many of you have been around a resident that fell and you kind of waited with them, right? It can be kind of difficult, right? I had one that had had a little too much to drink. He crashed in his scooter, was laying on the floor, a little bit of blood coming out. And I got down on the floor with him and waited until EMS got here. He probably called me every name in the book because I wouldn't help him get up. And I just try to keep saying, sir, I need to make sure you're safe. I don't want to injure you or myself, and we'll wait for the professionals to get here. But he didn't like it one bit. So, but, you know, we have to be cognizant we're doing the right thing for the right reasons and stick to our guns, you know. And many of us will help afterward if they get cantankerous. We'll meet with them and try to educate them about why we did that. But really, thank you, Enrique, and thank you, Julia, for your education. We want to make sure our residents and all of us are safe, and we're all a part of that. So thank you very much. All right, I want to ask any new employee hires in the last 30 days to please stand up so we can recognize you. New coworkers, outstanding. We are growing our family, baby. Good to see everyone. Look here. All right. Welcome. You probably made one of the best decisions in your life to join the ARC, so thank you. Really appreciate it. You're going to enjoy working here. Great place, great benefits, and great co-workers to be here. All right, we're going to go through some March anniversaries of 10 years and plus. And if you're in here, please stand up so we can recognize you. Agustin Guzman, Design Studio, 12 years. Are we in here? All right, we'll celebrate him anyway. Some will probably come at the 2:15 in service. Dario Adrias and Dining Services, 16 years for Dario. We have Luz Olivares, I didn't say that very well, Olivares, Dining Services, 18 years. Luz, there we are, stand up, man, it's a big one. 18. Regina Johnson in Healthcare, 18 years also. Regina. And then Ruben Cruz in Dining Services, 28 years. 28. Okay, we also want to celebrate a promotion. Daniel Rowe, I think he's in here with us, is promoted from security to housekeeping supervisor. So we're excited and proud of Daniel for his growth with us, and we always do try to promote from within when possible. I also want to recognize Carrie Mendez, our wellness and fitness manager. I don't see her in here, but she was selected to speak at a international conference in Orlando in 2026, later in the year, on fueling longevity, nutritional strategies, supporting healthy aging. So she's doing a lot and helping us get the word out, not only helping keep the residents and us healthy and well, but also sharing her skills with others. So we're very excited for her. All right, I'm going to announce the March award recipient for the Elita Longoria Spirit Award. So let's give us some drum rolls. Felicia Clary, where are you? Come on up. And again, this demonstrates outstanding customer service, performance, resident satisfaction, team environment. So we want to say thank you very much. And you'll get some nice spending money. And come on over here, a little photo. Speech, right? Congratulations and very well deserved. Thank you. Okay, I also want to, I don't see her in here, Deborah Suttles, but March is National Social Worker Month. So when you see Deborah Suttles, our social worker, we'll congratulate her and thank her for her service, and hopefully she'll be here at the 2:15 meeting. Couple of other announcements. I hope you all enjoyed the Employee Appreciation Day back on March 6th, the massage truck and everything, and the festivities. So we want to say thanks, and I want to thank HR and the Recognition Committee for working on that. Great time. Those chairs are, he told me, about $7,500-ish, so they're pretty expensive, but man, they sure are nice to be in, aren't they? That was a great time. Also, we want to thank our Art Kiwanis Club. You know, you saw last week they had their big Monte Carlo night, and they raised about $33,000, a little over that, and that's net after expenses. So all those funds are raised for employee scholarships, your dependent scholarships, and then they also support some other children's outreach programs in this area. So we're very excited to support that and continue offering scholarships to our employees to continue your education if you wish, or your dependents. And you probably saw the information that was sent out on Paycor about our eligibility expansion, but that's really big. You know, for 39 years, the ARC has been restricted to primarily officers, and then we opened it up to all veterans who are enlisted at all levels, and then federal employees. This last change, we opened it up to the general public. Anyone that can meet the financial requirements, you know, to move into the ARC. And so it really should be a big game changer for our organization. Instead of us competing for a small little sliver of people, we have a much wider net we can cast, which will help us increase occupancy, have more stable revenue coming in, ability to pay folks and buy supplies and resources. So we're very excited about that, and mainly that the residents supported it so strongly. You know, they overwhelmingly voted in favor of that. It was about 70%. And the board approved it afterward. So we're very excited about what that will mean for our long-term future and sustainability. So keep tuned. The marketing engine's cranking up to begin changing our marketing strategy and trying to blanket San Antonio a lot more. But it's going to be a great opportunity for us, and I think a great outcome. So, Stephanie, I think you had a couple of announcements before we do the drawings.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Just a couple of announcements for you all. We've assigned some mandatory Relias courses as a part of our action plan for our resident satisfaction survey. So it's really important for you all to complete those. We do have a deadline of April the 30th. So for all staff, it's a customer service course, and then for clerical and administrative staff, it's a communication and professional business call courses. If you need assistance with logging in or completing the course, you can reach out to us in HR or to your supervisor, and we'll be happy to assist. And then also, our team wants to be more available for you all. So I know that you all know that we're available for you all at Lakeside, but we're also going to add some time here at the high rise so that it's closer to you and you can stop by and visit with us if you need help with payroll, Paycor, Relias, anything you might need. And we're going to kick off that next Tuesday. We'll be here in the Sorber conference room from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So stop by if you need anything from us, okay? Thank you. Yes. Again, the deadline for the Relias courses is April the 30th. So, thank you.
Thank you. And actually, I want to recognize and thank Debbie Hargett. You know, we had the big resident satisfaction survey, and she has put together a pretty incredible action plan based on how we're going to respond to some of the areas we were a little lower. So thank you, Debbie, for working on that. And we'll be hosting a town hall later in March to go over that with all the residents, which is going to be mucho fun. We know it will be. All right. I'm going to go with the drawing. wraps up our in-service. Thank you very much. Have a safe rest of March, and we look forward to continued great success at the Ark. Thanks for all you do.